Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Raw review. So, it's the night after the Rumble. Ronda Rousey showed up, and, I'm looking all around the show. Where's Rousey? I don't see her. Is she over here? She's behind me. Where was she? She wasn't there. Uh, you booked this big spot at the end of the Rumble. You don't even have the courtesy to show her the night after on Raw. People that might be tuning in now, I said that she's not as big of a draw. The wrestling fans inside the wrestling bubble don't realize that she's lost all her value since losing her last few fights and being inactive now for about a year from the MMA world. You know, people don't care anymore. But at least the media reacted to it, and so you might want to have her the night after the Rumble for the people that don't have the network, that don't care about the pay-per-views. Your televised show right there. You might want to have Rousey on it just so people could see her, so you could get every last possible view that you could, because there will be a select few that probably might want to tune in to see that. The hardcore MMA fans might want to tune in to see Rousey, just to see what she's up to, just to laugh at her because now she's in the fake sport rather than the real one. But you want to show her now. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but she wasn't even on the show, motherfuckers. How could you book that big spot at the end and not even have her as a follow-up on Raw? Uh, our first segment, we had the coach now is back. He's, and he did a pretty good job on this night, I have to say. It was nice to see the coach back. He's a lot better than Michael Cole and Corey Graves. But now Booker T is gone. Could I ask one question here? Why is Corey Graves still on the announce team? Why is it not Cole, Booker T, and Jonathan Coachman? Why does it have to be Cole, Graves, and Coachman? What is so great about Corey Graves? Wouldn't you guys rather have Booker T, a much bigger star, as opposed to Corey Graves, where his only accomplishment is an NXT tag champ? I mean, that's as good as putting a fucking tin can around your waist. I mean, seriously, who seriously likes Graves besides the most dedicated smarks out there? This guy not only was it's a way of showing that like Graves won in the way. This guy was so disrespectful at the Rumble, and I didn't even touch on it in my review because there was so much to get to. It slipped my mind, just like I didn't even mention the Hurricane being in the Rumble, which was a nice surprise. So you could add that into the review right there, an extra comment. But he kept going after Booker T, trying to make him look like an idiot. And I know that's not the stuff they're feeding them through the headsets. That's Graves going rogue there. That's Graves going into business for himself. And so you've got this is kind of like him winning in a way, like oh, Booker T's now off the announce team and he's still there sitting pretty. I'm gonna say this for the last time. I fucking hate Corey Graves, and I would love to see this guy get his ass boosted right out of that seat because I find him to be most detestable, to say the least. So we have the first. So I'm happy to see Coach back. It's nice. He's going to be there permanently now. Is he done with his ESPN gig? I'm not sure. You could Google that. I didn't. So go find out if you're interested. We have the first promo of the night. It's Stephanie McMahon there with Asuka. So Asuka, you might want to wait to see who you're going to choose. Stephanie says because Alexa Bliss is going to defend her title in the Elimination Chamber, so there might be a different champion. Stephanie says, take the mic, say whatever you want, and that was a big mistake right there because she might have forgot one thing about Asuka, one small little thing. She doesn't speak a word of fucking English, not a single word, and that's exactly what she did. She cut the whole promo in Japanese, and the smarks out there in Philly, they blew up. They loved it. How can you love a promo where you don't understand a single word that's being said? I mean, maybe you learned a few words from your anime subtitles. I don't know, but she did a little line in there. She goes, "I will be champion." I mean, it was almost comical. It's almost like you know how you would do a parody of like Japanese wrestling. She's cutting this promo. It's the same thing like Meltzer Magoo, like Dave Meltzer. He's sitting there critiquing promos in New Japan that he doesn't even understand. Oh, because it was an impassioned promo. Who cares? You guys don't even speak that language. How are you enjoying this? I'm sorry, it's not humanly possible to enjoy something like that. I'm sorry, I might have a different perspective here. I understand, but it's not even like you could say, "Oh, well, Brad, there's anime," like I just mentioned, with subtitles. Oh, okay, well, quite frankly, I watched my Dragon Ball Super with the English dub, but okay, you like your original. I understand that, but at least that has subtitles. No subtitles here. You don't understand a damn word she said. I think she might have said champion, which was like the same thing, and she did this to her waist, so you knew she was talking about the belt. Okay, great. I'm not here for a Japanese lesson. I'm not here for that. I want to be entertained in English. I mean, come on. This is a little bit ridiculous here. I mean, we're starting off the show. People who are tuning in, forget about you, the most dedicated YWC, IWC internet mark. Forget about you who could, understands this stuff. People tuning in are going to be like, what the fuck is going on this WWE program? What happened to Raw? The Rock cutting his promo, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all people cutting promos in English. What? So the thing is, why would they do a Japanese promo? Think about that for a second. You've got all these people for all these years cutting promos in English and everything, and now we've got the Japanese. I mean, like, don't you guys like look at this and say, like, are we really getting behind this? It's not a matter of hating on her, she's speaking Japanese. I know there's going to be a lot of goofballs out there. You're like, oh, you're being racist, you just don't like Japanese wrestling. No, I'm sorry, but this is a program that is being produced in America, and I know that it's being broadcast globally, but that's why they have like alternate announcers and stuff on the network. You see when they do the roll call almost every single show. So it is not necessary. How about, but the main show is supposed to be in English. You guys do understand that, right? I don't know how you're deriving any sort of entertainment from a Japanese promo. So Sasha Banks comes out, and she wants to face off with Asuka. Asuka said her other thing. Nobody is ready for Asuka. I mean, she knows one line in English, and that's about it. I mean, come on. We kicked off the show with Braun Strowman and Kane in the Last Standing match, and I don't know how you kick a show off this way. I really don't. He goes to the announce table. He flips the whole stage at the announce tables onto Kane, and the match ends in like under 5 minutes. Destroying Kane. It was a good spot, but aside from one segment where Strowman screams in Kurt Angle's face backstage, that was the only time we saw Braun. So 3 hours went by on this show, and you're only seeing Braun Strowman, the possible, maybe he might main event at WrestleMania. I doubt it probably is going to be Roman Reigns, but I'm saying, like, this is your big star here. You showed Strowman for a total of 5 minutes. I mean, I don't get the booking here. How do you kick the show off with one of your biggest stars and you don't see him for the rest of the show? Like I said, great spot and everything, a nice little short match here, but Jesus, I mean, like, what happened to, like, back in the day, like with The Rock and Stone Cold? You'd see them multiple times throughout the show because, these are big stars. We were, you want to see them more than once. You want people to keep tuning into this show, and you want them to keep coming back to your big stars. Well, you know, you didn't come back to Strowman. You just basically got him out of the way in the first 5 minutes of your show. Very strange. Like, I was like, okay, at least they might show somebody once per show on the regular, but they'll be out there for at least like 10 minutes or so. Not on this night. Elias defeated Matt Hardy. I'm not a big fan of having Matt keep on losing here, but they did sort of protect Matt. Bray Wyatt turned the lights out, so now Elias is going to advance to the Elimination Chamber, which is good to see. I am happy that they are doing something with Elias. He also mentioned in this promo that John Cena is going to get his. So, we might see some sort of interaction between John Cena and Elias in the chamber. I'm suspecting that they're probably going to have a Rumble match, especially now that Joe is probably not going to make it to Mania. Um, you know, I, and that's good for Elias. I mean, but Elias will probably have to win at Mania. There's no other way really they're going to be able to get him over, unless John decides to lose to Elias. But that's going to be an interesting, fresh match. I mean, the only problem is we've already seen this match a couple of times, but to see how they build it up, even though all the build they ever do sucks, it'll be interesting to say the least. So then after the match, they do the thing with Bray laughing maniacally. I mean, this is all the build up that they're doing for Matt and Bray. Just laughing at each other, laughing one at a time, laughing together. It's all just laughing. And I feel like because they had a big hit with the laughing that one time 2 months ago, that's all they're doing now is just laughing. They're not even saying anything to one another anymore. They're not letting these guys cut any. These are like two guys right now in the business that cut some of the most creative, interesting promos, and you're just relegating them to laughing. I mean, this is just lazy. This is uncreative. This is just stupid after a while. I mean, and it gets annoying because all they're doing is just laughing. I mean, they're capable of doing more. And they're just not, the fact that Finn Balor gets more promo time doing a stupid selfie video. And that was one thing I really have to address on this show. Backstage, they're cutting selfie promos on their fucking cell phones. And I know that WWE's trying to be creative, and we should give them credit for doing something original, but it looks like shit. Okay, I mean, the fact that they're like doing these retarded ass Snapchat style vids is beyond me. I mean, guys, you have the greatest production in the fucking world when it comes to wrestling. Nobody can come close to your presentation, which is what angers me so much. I mean, this show could get away with so much because of their presentation, and yet the show still sucks. I mean, they have all the technology they need. They have the big production trucks. They have creative people. They have Kevin Dunn, who, despite a lot of people hating on him, the guy knows his production. It's not an easy job. That's why I laugh when people say, "Oh, fire Kevin Dunn." Kevin Dunn is a producer. He's the one who puts together these shows, and we wouldn't have the great video packages we have without him. So, the fact that WWE manages to be this good is due to that guy. So, I'm sorry, you guys know I knock a lot of people, but I can't knock Kevin Dunn. The guy knows what he's doing. And there's, it's a tough job. Those are big shoes to fill if he ever does get fired. Because they're always saying that Triple H hates Kevin Dunn, whatever. But, this is what pisses me off. You have these two characters, and you can do so much with your production. You could take these guys to so many different places. We could shoot it in different backdrops, And the thing is, they're not utilizing their production. They're cutting back so much. This is like part of the joke, you could even say. The fact that they're cutting back so much, no pyros, now people are just reduced to, they're cutting promos on their cell phones. Could you imagine Hulk Hogan, cutting a promo on a fucking cell phone? No, you couldn't, because it just doesn't seem right. And The Rock, could you imagine some of those great promos that he cut if he did it through a fucking cell phone? There's certain things that just do not seem right and do not belong in WWE, and that is one of them. It makes it look cheap. It makes it look corny, campy, and retarded. We had Roman Reigns in this rematch against The Miz. So there, the Miz Taraj kept on interfering. Miz rolls him up from behind. So, Roman's protected, but I don't see why they need to keep having rematches. People have talked about this on a number of occasions. They keep on utilizing the rematch clause all the time, and you even have wrestlers that never even got rematches, like Randy Orton never got a rematch. When Daniel Bryan beat him at WrestleMania, this has happened a number of times. So they might as well just do away with the stupid rematch clause already. It's fake. You don't need to honor things. It's like with people with the 30-day rule. Who cares? It's not real anyway. If you're looking for that type of, I am a fan of consistency. But the thing is, there's so many problems right now with WWE. I can handle a 30-day rule being violated by Alexa Bliss. I could also tolerate, not having a rematch clause, for example. So, they're such minor problems. Let's focus on formatting this show and, not kicking it off with a last man standing match, for instance, and not showing the competitors for the rest of the night after it. I like to cross that bridge first and resolve that sort of problem before we talk about all these minor fake things that are not being addressed, like very minor shit. The Revival defeated Slater and Rhino, so I don't know. They have this whole angle that they were doing. I guess they're abandoning it where Rhino. They addressed it at Raw 25 though, where Rhino threw Slater into the ring with the Dudleys. That they're trying to toughen Slater up because Kurt Angle said they need to do that in order to get more opportunities. So, but they keep on losing, so they're not really toughening Slater up, I guess. I like the promo though that the Revival cut afterwards. This is what I'm saying. I understand Raw 25. They had them get obliterated by DX and the fucking Balor Club, which they're trying to build these guys up, I guess. But now we're doing a reset, I suppose, and here we go again. But what was great is they asked Charlie, the announcer, did she think that they're as good as the Graham brothers? And she said, I'm not familiar with them. And, they talked about, how they're chanting ECW in Philly to try to get themselves over. And that I popped for right there. I said, I can't believe that he actually used that terminology. Trying to get themselves over. And the audience actually didn't even know how to react to that. Because I'm like, man, you guys got it right there in the promo from whoever that is. Dawson, Dash, I don't fucking know. Whoever he is, God bless the man for saying that. Exactly. Trying to get yourselves over. He says you guys are stuck in the past. How ridiculous is it that people are chanting the name of a defunct organization. You know, it's like anything else. They're trying to get themselves over. These fans are not really even enjoying this show. You know, it's just being there, you know, because they could get away with it acting this way. You know, it really says something about like the current generation in the world we live in, that people go to a wrestling show. They pay money not to enjoy the product that the ticket is meant for, but instead to just act like a bunch of idiots, and that is your form of entertainment. Now, I get the arguments. The show is boring, so they have to find ways to entertain themselves. Okay, well, then send a message to WWE. Don't fucking buy anything from them. Don't buy a ticket. Like I said, I've done the same thing. I subscribe to the network, but that is the extent of the money that I've given them. You know, just the $10 a month. I haven't paid to see a show in a very long time. You know, the last time I saw a show was at the end of 2015, and that was about it. And before that, I hadn't been to a wrestling event for 2 years before that. So there you go. I mean, you know, like I'm just not going to pay to go see these shows when I'm not even enjoying them at home. And yeah, the show is more enjoyable when you're there live, but still, I mean, it has to be a lot better for me to want to spend my hard-earned money to go see a shitty product, because I'm not going to go there and then try to entertain myself and be like a fucking idiot. I'd rather do something else. Holy shit, I'd rather sit at home and entertain myself with a good movie or a game or some shit, and or make a video for you guys talking about the product instead of going there and wasting my time with something that I don't even really enjoy. Um, the Dudleys will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. CBS reported on this, and you know, this is something I hate. When the Hall of Fame, it used to be a surprise, but now for some reason the information gets leaked, and they want them to report this shit ahead of time. WWE is the one who is leaking that information. But I don't understand why they do that. They leak their own info about their results. They leak their own info about Hall of Fame inductees. Just announce it on your show, for God's sakes. I mean, you're not going to draw anybody by leaking the news to CBS Sports, for fuck's sakes. Nobody, no regular sports fan is going to care about the Oh my God, the Dudley boys are being inducted. I'm going to have to tune into Raw tonight. Not going to happen. One or two people maybe, but it's not going to happen. You're not going to have people jumping at your show just because, oh, the Dudleys are being inducted. I mean, great. That's no knock to the Dudleys. They definitely deserve to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But, you know, you're trying to, like, bridge this gap and have this relationship with ESPN when most people who watch ESPN don't give a fuck about WWE anymore. They think they've had this relationship here for a few years, and they're not getting any new fans. You think that they might get the message that it's not working. People don't care about this product anymore because it's not good. It's not good. So, you know, people tune in like they tuned in for Raw 25. They probably saw how shitty the show is. They're not coming back. And I don't know what the ratings are for this week's Raw, but probably not as good as last week's. I'm going to just say that. Even if it is post Rumble. And I know that's probably what they were banking on. Oh, we got Raw 25 before the Rumble, and we've got another Raw post Rumble. So, you know, they might do a little bit better, but you're going to see a big drop off because you already wore people out with that Rumble. I don't think they're, you know, I mean, with that Raw 25 show, I don't think you're going to get nearly as many people as you did last week for Raw 25. Asuka and Sasha, you know, Asuka beat Sasha. And I have to say about this match, Asuka is a dangerous fucking... I know I've said this 1,000 times already here on this channel in numerous videos, and people hate me for it. But I have to say this. She is going to hurt somebody badly one day. Seriously. she is going to fucking knock someone's teeth out. But, she connected with this knee. And what was so funny about it and almost surreal and almost like a little bit of a coincidence that Michael Cole reacts to this big ass knee that she gives Sasha. She like kind of throws her in the air, comes down on her knee, and bam, like fucking smacks her right square in the nose. And Cole exclaims, "That could have broken her nose." And it makes me think of when Seth Rollins, another dangerous competitor, broke the nose of John Cena. And, it wasn't almost breaking it. It was broken. He broke his nose, and he cost him a couple of months there because, he hit him right in the schnoz with his fucking knee as hard as he could. Didn't take care of his competitor. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, that's how it is in wrestling. Do you guys realize that back in the day when, you didn't have as many beta males in wrestling, that when it was all alpha, could you imagine if somebody broke Hulk Hogan's nose? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if Ted DiBiase, he hit his $1 million knee on Hulk Hogan and broke his nose? I guarantee you, Ted DiBiase would not be main eventing or doing anything. That guy would be in the doghouse. Could you imagine if somebody broke the nose of the Macho Man? I guarantee you they would not be out there, main eventing. I mean, they would be held accountable for their actions for not taking care of their opponent. That used to be a thing back in the day, but I guess not so much anymore. Because now you have people kneeing each other, they're injuring each other, and nobody pays a fucking price. Here you have Sasha being, shown high profile-ish against Asuka, doing well in the Rumble. And this comes hot off the heels of her ending somebody's career for that very reason of not taking care of your opponent. And it's shocking to see that so much has transpired over the past, let's say, 5 years or so, with how many injuries have come about. I mean, it was so reckless that even Seth Rollins injured himself. But I also have to ask this question. How is the match not ending after that knee? Did anybody ask themselves that question? She didn't even go for a pin after that knee. And it's like, okay, so, we know it's all fake and everything, and that's the way the match is laid out, all right? But, you're kneeing somebody as hard as you can. Isn't the whole point of a finisher the cross-face chicken wing, the Oscar lock, the Bob Backlund right there? That does not look as impressive as a fucking knee right to the face. And for someone who's so high impact, I mean, it would be like if Stone Cold Stunner was, just like a transitional move. Can you imagine if, like, he pinned somebody, after a snapmare? I mean, like, it just would not look right. So I don't get, like, how that knee doesn't end the match, but it just shows that, like, they don't really think about, like, a finisher, like, what it means. Back in the day, it's like you knew when the match was coming to an end because, like, Triple H's pedigree was the most high-impact move that Triple H had. And in comparison to his other moves, it was like no contest. That was his finisher. It's like, and no one seems to be addressing this when people watch these matches. Like, oh, what a cool move. Oh, okay, well, why is it not ending the match? I mean, it's ridiculous that, like, Asuka's, like, fucking almost breaking this girl's face in two, and the match is still going on. Like, that move really wasn't of any consequence at all. So she wins the match, and there you go. Almost fucking killing her in the process, but at least we had a good match, right, guys? I mean, that's what matters. Sheamus and Cesaro defeated Titus Worldwide. Again, they came close to winning. Most of the match was Apollo Crews. He did pretty good in this match, and then, Coach brought up a good point in this match. He's like, oh, look at all this flash, but is it necessary? And that's what I'm talking about. It's like all these guys like trying to get themselves over by hitting like 1,000 fucking flashy moves. And then they still wonder why they're not over. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because almost everybody is doing these flashy moves, that almost every single person thinks that they could get themselves over through moves alone? And then you kind of look at who the most over stars are in wrestling history. Hulk Hogan, I say it all the time. Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, The Rock. I mean, some of these guys, like, they didn't really do anything that was that dangerous or that high risk or anything all that crazy. I mean, you think about The Rock. I mean, DDT, suplex, rock bottom, people's elbow, a bunch of punches. And, The Rock was no technical, expert. And somehow, some way, he's the most talked about wrestler ever. So, it doesn't matter if you can hit a standing moonsault or a fucking shooting star press, and string those moves together in the span of 2 minutes. It's like, it doesn't matter, because that's not really what most people care about as a whole. Okay, the YWC that's obsessed with star ratings and shit, yes. Okay, we like to see these flashy moves in matches. It's cool to see and everything. But at the end of the day, it's not getting anyone over. It's not building any stars. No one's really benefiting from this. So exactly what Coach said. He's doing all these moves in the match, and he's killing himself. He's like exhausted. He's flipping all over the place. And, but is it really necessary? And to answer Coach's question, no, it's not. It's not necessary at all, because we've seen from the past already. Hulk Hogan is probably the most over wrestler of all time, and his finisher was a fucking leg drop, one of the most basic transitional moves even before he even debuted. And somehow, some way, this guy that barely did any wrestling moves at all managed to become one of the most popular ones of all time. So, to answer your question, Coach, you're absolutely right. It's not necessary. And of course, many people will probably get upset over a comment like that, but that is just the truth. Thought it was funny that he brought that up. Then they talk about Ronda Rousey. They show some of the media coverage. And, like I said at the top of this review, you had this big moment. You had this, finally, the culmination of 3 years of hype since Ronda appeared at WrestleMania with The Rock. How are you not booking her for Raw? Okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she'll be on SmackDown. I doubt it. But this is your flagship show. Instead of talking about her, how about actually showing her? Especially since that debut wasn't anything special. One of these, pointing at the sign, not saying a word. What is this thing now? They've been doing a little trend here. Stone Cold comes out on Raw 25, doesn't say a word. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy just laughing, don't say a word. Asuka's not speaking English. Ronda Rousey comes out. I mean, what is everybody, a mute now? Is no one talking? We're all just gonna, mime shit out. I mean, come on already. Well, like, how are people not talking about this? Not addressing these very unusual trends that are going on with them. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're trying to get this angle over with Ronda Rousey. You have her come out. She's dressed like Roddy Piper. You're writing her name with the Piper's Pit font. It's just, I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't. I can't process this. And why are you not showing her on Raw? Why are you not following this up instead of talking about it and showing the media coverage? Where's the explanation? Where's Ronda? Like, and she's talking about how she's all in. She's all in, but she's not there. Like, so How can you justify that comment? You're saying that you're all in. Ronda Rousey is all in. Oh, she's all in. Well, is she? Well, where is she? If she's all in, if she's dedicating her career to WWE and she wants to be a wrestler, she wants to be a big women's wrestler in WWE, why is she not there the night after her big debut? I mean, does nobody like look at this and see how ridiculous that is? And it's not the first time they've done this. I don't know if they're trying to like build suspense and shit, but I say fuck building suspense. Like I said, this company thinks that they can afford to be sloppy. This company, every single year, their ratings drop lower and lower. At what point are they going to get it where they are going to address the fact that, I mean, you just had Raw 25, where that show was a big fucking train wreck. And you have pretty much even the most dedicated hardcore fans, your internet smarts, even they're saying the show sucked. When are you going to wake the fuck up and realize your product is fucking trash and you're not booking good shows and you're not putting on an entertaining product? So, this is just the same shit I've been saying for years here on this channel. They just keep coasting along, making the same mistakes, and these are pretty glaring mistakes. How do you pass up on something so obvious as featuring somebody? You went off the air with Ronda. You want to come into the next night strong. Instead of kicking the show off with the last man standing match, maybe you should have kicked the night off with, I don't know, Ronda Rousey, since she's such a big deal to you. And you went through this whole process of trying to sign her and trying to train her in privacy so nobody would find out about it, even though most of the internet did find out about it. Guys, I don't know. Anyway, the main event, John Cena defeated Finn Balor. Thank fucking God for that. Thank God he beat the fuck boy is all I'm saying. I mean, I looked in this match. I see Balor kicking out of the attitude adjustment. Oh, Brad, everybody kicks out of the attitude adjustment. I get that, and that's not a good thing. I'm just saying, seeing him kick out of that, I'm like, man, like, for Cena to even give the okay for him to kick out of that, I have to say, like, wow. And I was getting nervous there. I thought that they were going to have Balor go over Cena because I see they're trying to give Balor a second win. They're giving the Balor Club. They're doing that whole Bullet Club thing after seeing Raw 25 and them trying to put Balor over. He's the last one to hit his finisher, even after Triple H. God forbid you hit your finisher after Triple. Oh, I forgot that this is Triple H's little boyfriend here. Finn Balor, the fuck boy. This is the one. I guarantee you, Vince McMahon does not like Finn Balor. Because there's nothing that McMahon, based on his character, would like about him. He doesn't have a character. He's not a big guy. He doesn't stand out. He looks like an average Joe. So there's nothing that Vince would like. So you know that this is old Triple H. Has Triple H written all over it. And so, you're having him go in this match and you're having him hang with someone like John Cena like an equal. I mean, even like to all the smarks out there, all you guys in the YWC, do you really like look at this match and see it as believable that a guy like Balor could even hang with John Cena for as long as he does in the match? That it takes every last bit of John Cena's like being to beat him? That he's got to hit his finisher from the fucking top rope. I mean, I just look at this and I'm like, there's no way that anybody could be buying into this. I mean, if you're going to criticize, like, the fact that Rey Mysterio is beating the Big Show and all that, then you better fucking be addressing the fact that Finn Balor is, like, almost beating John Cena in this match. Thank God at the end that, I like how he did the too sweet before hitting the attitude adjustment. That was a nice little touch. And there you go. That's your show. So that was also a qualifying match. So now Balor won't be in the Elimination Chamber, which that That's pretty interesting right there. So now I don't know what they're gonna do with Balor. Unless he's gonna have like a 6-man tag match or something at Mania. They put Cena in there. So this kind of shows that, they have a funny way of looking at things. They will put Nakamurphy over in the Royal Rumble, but they're not gonna put Balor over Cena. So you could clearly see like who has a hand in certain things. Dr. Murphy must have been Triple H getting on his hands and knees and begging Vince McMahon, to fucking let Murphy win. I mean, same thing with Oscar. That he said let the Japanese guys win it, because there's no way I can never see Vince McMahon being 100% behind that. But something like, not allowing Balor to advance, that right there, that's a McMahon thing. So, you know, Triple H is a smart. He really is. He's the guy that, like, you guys, remember how you used to whine and shit about him burying people and all that, Triple H? You should be giving this guy a big old hug because he is the one who is endorsing your favorite indie stars to win rumbles and shit like that. Oh, Nakamurphy is a Japanese guy. Whatever. So the thing is, it's like he is the one who is allowing all this to happen. He is your doorway to your indie darlings benefiting here in WWE. He is the cause. It's not because McMahon is behind. McMahon probably took one look at that promo of Asuka, and probably was shaking his head like, "What the fuck is Triple H even thinking?" I don't know why he gives it the go ahead. I guess he wants to get them all involved. He wants to get the family involved because he knows he's not going to be around forever. But man, I look at the start of this show and I see a fucking promo in Japanese and I'm just like, holy shit. Like they're just not getting it at all. That this is not the way to put your product together. This is not a way of attracting new fans. This is a way of pushing people away, having people laugh at you. This is a way of just, just you're not getting it. You're just not getting it at all. So there you go, guys. There's your Raw review. You know, where was Ronda? You know, I just have to say I can't believe how shitty they book these shows where even the most obvious things just go unnoticed and fly under the radar. Anyway, guys, this has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.